Hello, it's Ryan here. Today we're going to be looking at powerful financial advice for young people. More specifically in this video, we're going to be taking a look at why it's important for young people to start saving earlier at a young age. So let's get started. Now, if you have a question about index investing, ETFs, or anything else that you may see on the website or channel, don't forget to leave a comment or drop me a line. This will help you get saving and investing faster. Now, the million-dollar question for this video is why saving earlier is important. Well, the first point that we have here is compound savings and growth. And in brackets, we have time. So we want to use time to our advantage. When we're able to use time to our advantage, we're able to see compound savings, which also is the growth. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the video. The second point that we have is we want to be saving and investing both early and consistently. So what this means is you want to start as early as possible, whether that's 25 years old or earlier. The earlier is better, and we want to make sure that we do it consistently regardless of when we start. Even if you start at the age of 50, you need to make consistent savings and investments. The next sub point that we have is set a plan for the amount and the timing. So the amount, you need to know how much money you're able to save either on a monthly basis or a yearly basis. If you do choose to save on a monthly basis, you want to have the amount and you want to be doing that consistently. If you do choose to do it on a yearly basis, then you want to have that lump sum on a specific day set within your plan, and you want to start investing that as soon as it's saved. The third point that we have is savings later in life will require several times more dedication and discipline, and this of course depends on when you start. This is very true, and we'll see an example in the next slide. You'll see that when you have to save later in life, you actually have to make more of an effort of savings per month or per year or whenever you end up doing it in order to reach the same overall goal. Now, we look at the last point, understanding the importance now will make a world of a difference. And this is something that I want to talk from personal experience. This is one major reasons I make an intense effort in order to save as much as I possibly can, and to not only save it, but invest it. We talk a lot about ETFs on this website, and we're going to use a 6% growth period per year in order to kind of predict the future savings that we would have. I strongly believe this is the key to financial or retirement success, making sure that you have that money ready later in life. Now, of course, when you have the savings, you're able to do a bunch of different things with it. If I need to go and invest in something like my car blows up tomorrow, I can go and dump a whole bunch of money into a car and I'll be okay. So there's other areas that you're able to use the savings for as you progress through life. The savings itself is very important, and knowing that if you can make a huge difference now by saving earlier will change the way that you view savings. Or at least I hope it changes the way that you view savings in the future. Let's take a look at an example now. So this is an example of savings. Now, I've graphed out 3 different situations here, and it's important to understand that we're using that 6% growth per year, and we're also using it with $5,000 saved per year. Now, 6% growth is not debatable for this video. You can use whatever percentage you want. If you think this is too high or you think it's too low, go ahead and use a percentage that you feel would most or best represent your situation. Same with the savings per year. Obviously, the more that you save, the better off you are, but not everyone is able to save $5,000, and that's completely okay. If you're only able to save $1,000 or $3,000 per year, then go ahead and punch that number into your Excel spreadsheet when you set it up. So we take 3 different cases. We have case A, which is represented right here as starting from 25 years of age and saving up until the age of 60. Then we have case B, which is 35 years of age to 60. And then we have case C, which is the 35 years of age to age of 60. However, double the amount of money is being saved per year. So instead of the $5,000 that we're talking about right here, it's going to be $10,000 of savings for case C. Now let's see what happens when we end up saving at the age of 25. We put $5,000 in for the first year. We're going to be about here. Then you look through the decades as we go, 25 to 35. In 10 years, we haven't even saved $100,000. However, in the next 10 years, now we saved more than $100,000. And then, of course, you look from 45 to 55, big difference. And then finally 55 to 65 again. So you can see this relationship is quite exponential. It starts gradual, and then look at as we progress through life. It goes vertical nearly. And of course, the longer that you save, if you were to start at 20, this is going to be even more vertical near the end. This is how the whole exponential growth works that we talked about in the previous slide. Now, looking at case B, if the person were to start at age 35, look at the difference between A and B. Of course, A is the blue dots, B is the orange dots, and the C case that we'll look at shortly is the gray dots. Now, person B starting at age 35 and contributing that same $5,000 per month, however, it's still also at the 6% growth per year, you could see that they end up having a flatter overall line. And look at the difference between their end result. This is why we're saying that saving later in life, and we're only talking about age 35 here, and you can see that person B here would top out at $300,000. However, you could see that person, if you look at person A, they're going to be sitting at $600,000. So easily you can say that those 10 years age difference between starting for the 25-year-old versus the 35-year-old actually meant half the amount for the person who is actually only starting 10 years later. Now that's a huge, huge difference. Now if we take this person B, and we're taking a case of C now, when we look at case C, we're double the amount vested. So you can see, in order to actually catch up, person C ends up needing to save double through the course of this time period, and that's where he is able to catch up at this time frame right here. So really there's a couple ways that you can look at this. If you do start saving later in life, you could see that the amount of effort is going to be a multiple of the person who starts only a fraction of a time period before. We're talking 10 years out of a total 25 to 35 years. So only 33% or less. And even then, person C would not even reach the full amount that person A is, but it's off by only a small amount. Now, here's the big thing. These values actually represent something. So I put these values on here for a couple different reasons. The first one is person A is actually only putting away $180,000. That's how much they're saving, just their contributions through the years. Its total is $180,000. Now person B, the sum of person B is $130,000. Now you can see the difference between those two, the $50,000 is what makes the $300,000 difference at the end of the day. So that's, to me, a very significant point. The amount of money there that actually combines over a very long period of time is very substantial. This is why saving earlier at a younger age is super, super important. You get this compounding growth and savings over time. And again, using time to our advantage. Time is what's really the driving reason why we're able to do this. And then if we look at person C, who's able to put away $260,000, they're the one who are able to catch up at the age of 60. So you can see the difference between $260,000 versus $180,000. They had to put away an extra $80,000 of their own money. It's not the growth aspect of it in order to catch up. Now there is one little difference. We're not taking into consideration the time effect. Person A who's spending their money on these saving every single month or year, or in this case it's per year. Person B doesn't need to do that, so they're blowing their money on whatever. Money is worth more today to you than it is in the future. $1,000 today means a lot more than $1,000 in 10 years from now. And that's not part of this consideration. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, it doesn't matter. The only point that must be made here is that the savings earlier on in life is going to make the biggest of differences, especially when we look at a case like these three right here. That concludes this video. Now, on this channel, we cover ETFs, index investing, and sometimes we explore other areas that still deal with money. If you're looking for videos on any of that content, don't forget to invest in that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video on Monday.